Inventions. Welcome to Historical AF. I'm Keena.
And I'm Taya.
We are two history podcasters here to deliver some weird and funny historical invention nuggets you never knew you needed in your ear holes. This is Inventions Part 3. Woohoo! I'm so excited you're here.
Me too. I'm so excited.
So tell everybody about your podcast.
So I am Taya, the TK for from
Words are hard.
Words are hard. So my podcast is For the Love of History. And in the podcast, I refer to myself as TK because when I started it, I thought I was cool. On For the Love of History, we talk about women's history, world history, and weird history. It's just me talking to you for about 20 or 30 minutes. Pretty hilarious, or at least my mom tells me I am.
Moms would not lie about that.
Right? Moms would never lie, especially not mine. So my podcast is pretty digestible little nuggets for your ear holes, because that's my new favorite thing ever. And, if you're doing dishes, you can listen to my podcast. It fits into pretty much anybody's commute, so I would go take a listen. It's pretty good.
Yes, I highly recommend. And you're in the future.
It is Thursday at almost 11 o'clock here in Japan.
That's insane. Still hanging out in Texas Wednesday night, About to have a tornado apparently, but we're going to just podcast through it, Just hopefully my house stays where it is and we'll be fine.
As long as you have electricity, we're fine.
Committed. If we have electricity, I'll just take this to the closet. We'll just move the party.
Right?
I know everybody that doesn't have tornadoes are probably like, what the hell? You go in a closet?
Ew, I was born in Kansas.
Oh, wow. You get it then.
Yes, I get it. And I was, in fact, born during a tornado. There was a tornado off in another county. And then because of that tornado, there was flooding that happened. So my poor mother couldn't get to the hospital. And so we went to a small little hospital, like a little clinicy hospital. And that's where I was born. And I didn't get the chickenpox vaccination because they just didn't have it.
Oh, wow. Well, I didn't have it either because I'm old.
Did you?
But I don't think they had that in the 80s. I'm from the time of chickenpox parties.
Oh my God. Were those real?
Yeah. In my school, they just let you play together. And so they would just shut the school down once we all had it. It was crazy.
I just hate chickenpox. I love it.
Yeah. Back in the day. So barbaric.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I got it because I know people that have gotten it as adults and it's awful. So
it's like shingles, right?
Not great. Nope. No thanks. You. I mean, I know I can still get shingles. I think they have a vaccine for that now. I should probably get that.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Just get all the vaccines now. COVID has made me look at vaccines differently. I just want them all now. I'm just like, shoot me up. I'm ready.
Every year. Body is ready.
I don't see the problem. If I need a booster for this, sign me up right now.
Incredibly jealous. In Japan, only 1% of the population has been vaccinated. It's a shit show over here. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so I'm a teacher number one, I'm a foreign person living in Japan. So that puts me at the bottom of the list. Yeah. And then I'm also a teacher at a private school. So I'm I'm the last person to get a vaccine in Japan.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I was wondering, I didn't know how much different it was. So I got mine a while ago. So I was really, really, really lucky. But I know people are just scrambling to go to CVS and stuff, but they just don't have any spots. It's infuriating.
Yeah. It is infuriating. Really is. Yeah. I would like to go home and visit my family. That would be cool.
If you can get the vaccine, please do. Please get it. There's so many people that can't get it, either for medical reasons or they're allergic. So they're depending on us for herd immunity.
Yes.
So we have to take care of our community. And it's just so scary. So please.
Not for yourself, for everybody else, and especially for me, so I can go back to America.
It's been a year and a half that I haven't seen any of my family.
Right?
I'm just everybody.
Gina and I want to go see our family.
Yes. I got a plane ticket and I'm terrified, but I'm excited. So
yay!
Just being in a tin can, But yeah, your flight would be long.
A 24-hour travel time from where I am to little old Idaho.
Yeah, that's a long flight.
It is indeed.
And how long have you been podcasting?
I had my 1-year anniversary on April 1st, on April Fool's Day, because, again, past Taya thought it would be a great idea. Just in case it didn't work out, I could be like, April Fools, I really didn't start a podcast.
That's actually brilliant.
I always have an out.
Well, I'm glad I found you. I love the little history podcast community. Everybody has been so cool and so fun. I just have the best time.
Samesies. And like meeting so many cool people, being able to talk to people that have my same interests. Because I have 2 best friends, love them more than life itself. But they were getting to the point where they're like, Taya, I'm going to need you to not talk about this anymore. Nobody cares. And I was like, there are people who care. I'm sure there are.
I relate to that in my soul. That's the whole reason this started, because my husband was like, you need an outlet that is not me.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. My husband too. So he's Japanese, so I'll be like talking to him about something and he doesn't know about American history. Like, do you know about Japanese history unless you studied that? Like, so I'd be talking to him about something and then halfway through he'll be like, you are using all these nouns that I just don't understand. And I was like, all right, cool.
How did you guys meet? Being in different countries. Oh, wow.
So I've been living in Japan for about 5 years. I was like, no dating. I'm only going to live in Japan for 2 years. And then after the 2 years, I was like, okay, 1 more year. And then 3 years, I was like, 1 more year. And then 4 years, I was like, it's okay to date. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to live my hoe dreams on Tinder. It's going to be great. I'm just going to hook up with people. And then I think it was like, I'd only been using it for like a month. And then I found him and I was like, fuck, I'm in love. God damn it.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Here we are 2 years later.
That's amazing. Got another notification. It's like, storm. I got it. It's not even raining yet. Jesus. Calm down. Yeah.
Well, we better get to this episode before,
I know, right?
Before the tornado comes.
So strap in, quite literally, friends, because we're about to dive into the invention of the modern bra.
Yes.
AKA the brassiere, over-the-shoulder boulder holder, the double-barreled booby holster, the upper-decker flopper stopper, the titty tamer, the honky hanker, the knocker locker. I could go on forever, but you get the point.
Love it.
Oh, man, I need to focus. All right, so fun fact, although some historical accounts might suggest otherwise, the modern bra that we know it today does not have one singular inventor. And it's wild how some people get all the credit when it comes to inventions, and then other people get tiny little blurbs, because history is just weird like that. So we're going to kind of go through the history of how what we know happened. If you go all the way back to the Lady Bits theme, I mentioned that bras are ancient. You know, essentially, as long as boobs have been uncomfortably floppy, you know, somebody's been looking for a way to strap them down.
Right.
And if you're a boob haver, then you know the struggle, because they're just weighted skin sacs. So if you're doing things like jumping and running and existing, they're painful. So it makes sense that people have this. I have visuals. Okay.
Please.
So shameless plug, join Patreon for all the pictures. Woo-hoo. So naturally, tatas had to be tamed to get your shit done. So throughout history, these bad bosoms were bouncing no more. And how do we know this, right? Art. Oh, I love it. So art history, for example, what we're looking at right now, this is a mosaic wall. And it shows women wearing like a bandeau bra. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times cloth in this era of history probably wouldn't survive. And if it did, they probably didn't realize what it was. So we do know because of these mosaics. And this is from the 4th century. And it shows women lifting weights, playing ball games, throwing a discus. And this was actually found in what they think was a bedroom, which I also find really interesting, that they would have like a workout scene in your bedroom. That'd be the last thing I want to see when I wake up.
Right.
Or a reminder that I need to work out. Do not like. Hard pass. So these bras do look like bands, and it looks like it's bindings or like a bikini, or they're called the bikini girls.
A little bit different than like Maxim or like Sports Illustrated.
Yes. Yes. So this is very functional. Tighten them down so that you can move around without any problems. And one of my favorite things about history is that sometimes we really, really think we've nailed it. We think we've found the invention, we're confident, and then bam, new evidence pops up and we have to rewrite everything. So for a really long time, it was agreed that the modern bra was invented in the 19th, 20th century, but in 2008, an excavation in Austria's medieval Lingberg Castle, archaeologists found 4 linen proto-brassieres and some undies that look really modern, despite being from the 15th century. Right here. Look at that.
Oh my God.
I mean, that looks like something people could buy today, minus the holes, but
yeah. I mean, is that a tie on the side?
Yeah, it's like a bikini. It looks like you tie. Amazing. It's crazy. And these were found in floorboards of a room in the second story of the castle.
Whoa.
It's wild.
Why are you keeping your undies secret in the floorboards? What were you doing?
Exactly. I wonder that too. I don't understand. But they're both made from tabby woven fabric of Z-spun yarn. And there's even evidence of some finger loop lace. So these were meant to be pretty.
Yeah. Lacy undies all the way back in the day.
I know. Medieval. Like, who would have thunk?
So cool.
What probably happened, and this happens a lot with a lot of inventions, is that they were invented, people loved them, they were all the rage, and then they went out of style. It was out of fashion. People forgot about it, and then it was invented again.
Yeah.
So essentially, that's what we think. And the Middle Ages gets a really bad rap a lot of the time about being all dark, and people talk about just how awful it must have been. But some of the inventions really slapped, like the printing press in the 15th century, coffee houses. Coffee, that sweet, addictive nectar of the gods. But it was like a social activity now, so that's exciting. And then you have the heavy plow in Europe for economic development, mechanical clocks. So let's just hashtag normalize, stop shitting on the medieval ages.
Right?
It wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
Before this discovery, there were some sources that talked about women wearing breast bags. Really? Yes. And historians now believe that this was a satirical description of bras, and perhaps bags were the cups. And I've seen like some bras, it looks like a bag holding your boobs up and it goes around your neck, like the after shower thing. So that's what I'm envisioning.
Oh my gosh. Like those towels that have like crunchy thingies.
Yeah, they look like bags. That's what I'm
envisioning. They do.
Now.
Same.
And there were some weird quotes, like one says, quote, "There's no gossip in the city about her big breasts," and it just goes on and on about these bags. So as long as boob havers have had boobs, they need something, support. Yeah. So I'm assuming that's probably what it was, but it leaves a lot to the imagination. So we're going to move on. A really cool part of this history is that you can really find out a lot about people based on fashion. Especially when it comes to cleavage and breast shape and skin showing. It really tells you a lot about the different century, decade that they're in. And the evolution of cleavage ideals has been really a wild ride. Some styles were very perky breasts that defied gravity, and other times they were strapped down, so you had no figure. And it changed really fast within decades in some instances. By the 16th century, corsets were now all the rage. It's RIP rib cages and breathing everywhere. This invention marked a change from people wearing clothes to fit their bodies to actually changing the shape of their bodies to fit their clothing. FYI, corsets were around before this, and they're seen even as early as like Minoan figurines in the 1600 BCE era. And a lot of those were waist cinchers, but the breasts were exposed. So it's not necessarily a corset. It just looks like one, because of course we don't know because they didn't write it down what it was, but we can assume that's what it was. And other cultures use kind of like a corset, but it's for modesty. So there's certain tribes of the Caucasus that would lace corsets really tightly, and as many as 50 laces, and it would start in childhood and you'd wear it till your wedding night. So when the marriage was consummated, the groom had to slowly and carefully undo each lace to demonstrate his self-control.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that.
I have no words for that.
Like Princess Bra, or not Princess, like Robin Hood Men in Tights. She has that chastity belt, and it's just like,
right? Oh my God. Do they wear it the whole time? Like do they never take it off? Because I feel like that could cause some structural shit.
Assuming in a lot of cultures, if you're alone at night or you're with your family, it's okay. Because I know in some cultures, especially with head coverings, your family's okay. And if you're in your home, that's a safe place for you to be able to, unveil yourself. So I'm maybe sleeping if it's just you and your family, but in public, you would have to wear it. That's what I'm assuming. There would be no recovering if you didn't get to breathe at least a little bit.
Or even wouldn't your muscles atrophy, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but if you didn't take it off and air out the skin would it can cause rashes. If you sweat, it would be skin disease. The extreme popularity of the corset came with Catherine de Medici when she arrived in France from Italy with her banging body. She had married King Henry of Orleans, who became King of France. We've heard of him. If you've ever watched that show on CW, what was it? Rain. It was so wildly inaccurate, but it was entertaining. The women of the French court couldn't resist and saw the corset as, quote, indispensable to the beauty of the female figure. These flattened the tatas and then pushed them up. So a really unnatural shape to the body. But the cleavage, so it was... If you've ever seen movies like that, so they're super squished, but then it has a little bit of rounded at the top that's touching your chin. That was some sources actually claim that she banned thick waist from court. And that seems like a real dick move because
that is a real dick move. I wouldn't be able to go to court. Your girl is thick. So
yeah, and you're essentially a baby making machine in any time in history. So what are you supposed to do?
Exactly.
It just seems really unfair and I don't appreciate it.
No, it's rude. Frankly, it's rude.
It's very rude. And I don't think I've ever had a thin waist. I don't think a corset would save me, but I just can't imagine. And especially if you're pregnant all the time, that just seems like it would be dangerous. I don't know. I do not like it.
Yeah, you're squishing the baby all up into your organs.
Yeah, shoving it way up there. And it was also considered mandatory for middle and upper class women to wear corsets. So you can't escape it. But I mean, my family historically has been super poor. So I think my ancestors were probably too poor to have to wear one. So
they didn't have the problem of the corsets.
What's that meme? It talks about, the Scottish peasants. It's like your body even is like, don't worry, lassie, I got you, pump you up so you can run away from people. like it's in my DNA to be a little thick.
Right. So you can escape.
So cleavage was all the rage for women before the Victorian era, where low-cut dresses and bare décolletage were very much vogue. I love that word, décolletage. Décolletage. So rich, sophisticated women wore French dresses with low square styles that dipped way to the nipples. So basically, you're a sneeze away from a nip slip. So think French court Marie Antoinette, the square went as far as it possibly could. Your cup runneth over, if you will. I can't even imagine. If one popped out, how do you even get it back in? It's so tight. I don't
shove it. Do they do the shove technique? Just get all up in there, or do you come from the bottom?
Maybe.
Do you come from the bottom to pull it down, or from the top to push it in?
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are the questions that I need answers to. That's the kind of history book I need.
And everyone from queens to sex workers wore these styles, and it was completely acceptable for all classes of women to wear these, which I also find really fascinating.
Yeah.
And of course, there's super famous women that wore them. So you got Queen Mary II in the 1600s, and then Marie Antoinette in the 1700s. She was very fashionable. She had very deep cleavage. I love her clothes. And if you ever see, Versailles has a really cool social media presence, but you can see her collection of shoes, and I just love it. She's another one of those women in history I think gets a bad rap because she never said let them eat cake, and it just burns me up. So So before the prude wave of the Victoria era, women's cleavage was seen as a status symbol more than a sexual one, which is also really fascinating. Yeah. That's how I choose to live my life now. I like cleavage. All my shirts are low cut. So it's a status symbol, guys. It has nothing to do with being sexual. I've just always preferred cleavage. I think that neckline. I am. Yes, I just find those necklines more flattering. I don't know. Exactly. That's just how I roll. We're still in this 350 year or so cycle of really shitastic corsets that have whale bones and steel rods. And it's just basically torture. And never forget that these were actually breaking bones and changing the shape of their bodies and organs. Like these were displacing organs.
Oh my God. Oh, I like my organs where they are.
Yeah. Like women, our bodies are meant to shift in pregnancy. Like, but not that way. There's no going back after that. And I've seen pictures and x-rays where they, later in like the, 20th century or so when they show where the organs are and stuff. And it's horrific. I just can't imagine how much pain goes into that.
They were in. This is a weird side note, but did you ever watch the cartoon Invader Zim?
I did a little bit when I worked with teenagers at the library. Okay. They were really into it.
My brother is super into it, and there's this episode where the alien realizes that he doesn't have the same organs as everybody else, so he takes other people's organs and replaces them with weird things, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind. So anyways, you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter.
So now we're in the Victorian era, and the Victorians went way opposite directions. It was no longer acceptable for women to have that heaving bosom. Why do I keep on saying bosom?
Heaving bosom.
Bosom. The hills are coming out. That tornado. I'm thinking I'm back in the hills. They just found it completely unacceptable for women to dress like that, especially going out into the market or going in town square. You needed to be more modest. Necklines were raised, basically turtlenecks. They had heavy draped clothing, and they still had corsets, and they were very rigid, but their entire body shape started changing at this point. Later in the Edwardian era, corsets kind of refigured the body again, and it was more of an S shape, so it kind of filled out that booty. Yeah. So now that was acceptable to have the big plumes back there and the bustle.
We got a little dump truck.
I had
little Edwardian dump truck.
That's gonna be in the title of the episode.
Edwardian dump truck.
Dump truck. A little tangent. When I worked at the Historic Arkansas Museum, one of the projects I got to work on was doing a activity sheet. So I did fashion in the 19th century. So it was like the difference of the bustle and the corsets and all this stuff, but I made them into coloring sheets. It was so fun. I had a lot of fun with that.
I would love that.
Yeah. And they had some great books on the history of fashion, and I was just obsessed. But I got to draw the dresses. It was really fun for me. So that was a great job. Sadly had to move, but I loved it there. I miss you, Ham. So even though corsets were still raging in the 19th century, things started to change, probably because people had had it with how painful these things are. They're just ridiculously awful. So in 1866, a bra made of silk and wire pops up on the scene in the UK. It's kind of similar to what we have today, but nobody patents it. And then a major milestone occurs in 1889 when the French inventor Hermione Cadeau. Oh, I don't know French. Cadeau. I don't think they have the "ya" in French, right? That's Spanish. The two L's.
Yeah. So I think that's in Spanish.
So she presented her corselet gorget, which translates to corset divided in two, and she presented it at the Paris Fashion Exhibition. So she basically just kind of, instead of having a uniboob, cuts it so you have two boobs.
Oh my God, thank you.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And this bra section was separate from the waist cinching, so it did give you a little bit more shape difference. So it's not just a flat board. It just like super flat, and then it allowed your boobs to come out a little bit more. So it must have been a little bit more comfortable.
Bless her.
So she said she wanted to make a garment that allowed for functionality, because obviously you can't move in these things. They are so painful. And they also had all those medical implications. People were having serious deformant issues, broken ribs, misalignment of their spine. So, of course, women are like, hell yeah, make me something else. And then in 1893, a woman named Marie Tussac patented the breast supporter. This device included separate pockets for breasts, kind of like the breast bag.
The breast bag.
And then it had straps that went over the shoulder, and then it fastened with a hook and eye closure. So the difference here is that it doesn't cover your whole boobage area.
What?
It just kind of goes under and pushes up, but it doesn't cover the nipple.
And your nipples are just out? Just like nipples out? Sun's out, nips out.
Yes, absolutely. So that's her invention. But it kind of looks like an underwire bra, just missing the top part. Like it's missing the cup. That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Who needs it?
That old thing.
Who needs a cup? We're in the year 2021. We're freeing the nipples in a big way, okay?
Well, that's true. But I guess like the clothing was so thick too that you wouldn't have to worry about, nipples showing in your clothing.
Yeah.
So in 1907, Vogue began talking about brassieres. And then in 1911, the word appeared in the Oxford English Dictionary for the first time.
Nice.
And so around 1910, the bazingas were still being cinched really tiny proportions. And then you have this 19-year-old girl busting up into the scene, and she's fucking had it. Her name was Mary Phelps Jacob, and she's getting ready to go to a debutante ball. Can't relate. Never got to go to one of those. I am not that fancy.
Same.
I'm not that kind of Southern. And she had just had it with the corset. She had this really nice dress and she just wanted to breathe. But also the corset was really bulky. And when she wore it underneath that dress, you could see it. It was, hurting the form of it. And then with the neckline, you could see it poking out. And she was just like, fuck it. And she's like, hey, you, which was probably her maid because she's going to a debutante ball. She's super rich. And she asked them to bring some handkerchiefs and some ribbon and then grab her sewing kit. So she starts sewing together the handkerchiefs like triangles and then puts the ribbon. And it's like a little bra, just like a little bralette, kind of like what you get today. I love this quote. She says, it was delicious. I could move more freely, a nearly naked feeling.
Oh, delicious naked feeling.
Yeah. She's 19 too.
That's a weird thing to say about a bra, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, right? So then she goes to this ball and she's rocking this new figure because obviously her dress is fitting better. Her shape has changed and people are into it. Everybody notices and they probably swarmed her like you do at parties and be like, girl, where'd you get that?
Tell me where you got this
Tell
bra.
me. And of course, everybody's like, I need one. And she's like, I got you. So she starts making them for her friends. And then she starts getting letters in the mail of people saying, hey, I heard you're making this thing. I'll give you $1 if you make me one too.
Yeah.
And today, $1 would be $27.88. So
wow.
That's pretty good chunk of change. I mean, that's for a basic bra. That's about
bra.
Yeah. I mean, I only have cheap bras. I'm not going to lie. So they're about that price. My days of buying like $70 bras are over.
Bras, they're over. They're over.
Yes. So then she has this like light bulb moment. It's like, I am a businesswoman now. So she starts making these and selling them. And then on February 12th, 1914, she goes to the patent office and is like, hey, I made this thing. Totally nailed it. Everybody loves it. Give me the patent. And they did.
Yay. I'm so excited for her.
I know. I did see a few things where they kind of went back and forth, being like, this exists already. And she had to prove, like, no, it doesn't. And she explains that it is a new garment and it extends far beyond fashion because it allowed women a freedom of movement, which they had not had. And then also, separates the uniboob, which everybody was really into.
Yeah.
Everybody was over this corset.
Nobody likes a uniboob.
So she opens the Fashion Form Brassiere Company. And then she marries this dude named Harry Crosby.
Oh.
This dude. Okay, so he decides now that her last name's going to be Crosby, she needs to change her name to a C word. Because he thinks it's going to sound better and that like their names together are going to have like this weird crossover thing. So he suggested a word for her name. Do you have any idea? It starts with a C.
Is it corset? Like corset?
No.
Crosby?
Is a little bit more I don't want to say vulgar because I don't think it's vulgar, but I think people.
Did he say cunt?
No, but
did you want to name her cunt?
Very close. Very close.
No.
You're so close.
What? Like, what could it be? Cunty? Like, are we trying to make a Q by adding a Y at the end?
He did add a Y. Shut
up. What is it?
No, but
my God.
It's clitoris with a Y.
Clitorisy.
Clitoris Crosby. And she's like, babe, no. And he's like, but it has a Y. She's like,
you not know what this word means? Like, I know that, like, you know, men in general have a hard time finding it, but like, you can't find it in a woman's name. Like, this is not, what are you doing?
That's not where it should be found. Nope. No. So then he's like, how about caress? And she's like, that's better than clitoris. Okay.
Yeah, it's way better. Literally, a cunt. Cunt would be better than clitoris.
Cunt is like one of the oldest words as far as swear words. I think it's from like the 1300s. I'm pretty sure. Like or 1200s. It's super old. Oh, I love it. So great. She settles with Caress, and now her name is Caress Crosby.
Excellent.
Oh, but they let her like. So later they named their second whippet dog Clitoris. And he said it was after the Greek goddess. Come here, Clitoris. Come inside. It's time for breakfast. Let's go for a walk, Clitoris.
At the dog park, you're calling your name Clitoris. Clitoris.
I love that there's no sound in my house right now, and my husband's just sitting in the living room listening to this with no context. He's just yelling clitoris. I've just said clitoris like 30 times in a row, and he's probably like, my God. What is wrong with her?
What are you talking about? Who is this woman in my house right now?
Oh, yes.
I love it. But also, can we pause and talk about the major fucking red flag that is? If a man asks you to change your name, even after you're married, run, divorce.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He's soup's problematic. I didn't have time to touch on it, but it got weird, like super weird. And there were some like lots of mistresses, lots of pornography writing. Like it just like went a lot of places. And I feel like I need to do like an extra episode just on these two people because wow.
You do.
But,
you do. And I want to be there.
Okay.
I need to know.
Tiana in the comments, I found it, pointing at the dog.
I found it.
I'm making that a sticker.
Oh, it needs to be. God.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Amazing. Ooh. So eventually her husband, also another big red flag, is like, you don't need a job. I'm rich. Why do you want to have a job? Bras aren't doing so hot. Because at this time, flappers were all the rage. And with the flappers, it was the goal to flatten your chest as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So it was back to those bands. So we did kind of like a full circle back to the Romans. Those bando, whatever, bras.
Bando, whatever.
Yeah. So he's like, you don't need a job. You're fine. So she's like, all right, I don't really need to do this. And she's not really upset about it. She's just like, all right, I'm going to go sell it. So she sells her patent to the Warner Brothers Corset Company for $1,500. That is only $23,000 today.
What?
That is insane. On so many levels.
$23,000 only?
Yes. I'm assuming that they took advantage of her, and I'm assuming she knew because she seems like a very intelligent woman.
Yeah.
And she just didn't care. But
is it because she's rich and then she married a rich husband?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like, she didn't really care about the money. And she never, ever mentioned being pissed about it. Ever. She was just like, all right, it happened. Whatever. I'm done. I'm over it. But I would not let that go like that.
Yeah. But I also wouldn't change my name to match my new last name. Yes. Like, she's made some questionable life choices here.
Like marrying a man whose first idea is clitoris for a name change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not great. Not a good look.
Oh my God.
So a few years later, about 1929, the bra business starts to take off. The corset was officially dead, and the Warner Brother Corset Company makes $15 million off her patent alone.
Oh my God. Is this the same Warner Brothers as like Warner Brothers Studio Warner Brothers?
I was going to Google that and I forgot, but I'm not sure.
It's okay.
I don't know. Maybe. Awesome. They probably had their fingers in a lot of stuff. So today, that is $232,000.
Oh my God.
Million, not thousand. $1 million. Oh
my God. No, I heard million in my brain.
Yeah. It's like Austin Powers like $1,000. That's not a lot.
$100,000.
Yes. So $232 million.
Gracious.
In 1929, off of her patent. I would be so pissed, but she again had zero fucks. So she sold it, old news, but she did say once later, quote, "I can't say the brassiere will ever take a great place in history as such a thing like the steamboat, but I did invent it." But I would argue that it might be more impressive than a steamboat. We have all seen a bra, everybody. Yeah. How many of us have seen a steamboat in person? Like, you know,
never, not a once.
I mean, I have because I'm a hillbilly and they're really popular up there, but everybody has one. Everybody sees one. Everybody who's probably, knows somebody who bought one. It seems to be a huge part of history. So I don't think she gave herself enough credit.
No, not at all. Jeez,
so after that, she goes on to opening a publishing company that published names like Hemingway and Edgar Allan Poe.
Whoa, look at this lady.
Yeah. Oh and God, then she worked as a ghostwriter for a while. And then she decided to start writing some erotica. And it was apparently really good. She did really well with it. Yeah. It's like never a dull moment with her. And again, I'm going to have to do more research because just what I've touched on, I was just like, holy shit.
That is amazing.
Anyhow, just a few more bra facts and then I'm done. All right. So in World War I, the corset kind of took a fatal blow. This is kind of when it just died. U.S. War Industries Board called on women to stop buying them. So for the metal. And it freed up 28,000 tons of metal.
Oh my God.
That's so much metal.
That's a lot of metal.
It's a lot of metal.
That was being used in corsets?
Holy man. So they took them from the corsets to, make shit like planes and ammunition and all that stuff.
This plane brought you by corsets.
Yeah. And so later, two New York dressmakers, William and Ida Rosenthal, started making bras for their clients and eventually went on to found Maidenform. This was 1928. Oh my God. Yeah.
Get it.
And they're credited with introducing the letter sizing system.
Oh.
So that's a whole complicated mess, too, that I don't think I've ever quite understood.
No. Because you go to Victoria's Secret and they're like, "You're a triple extra D." And I'm like, whoa, really? I don't think so, but thanks.
Yeah, I did the TikTok thing where they're like, "This is how you do it." And it told me I was like E-cup. And I was like, there's no fucking way. This bra fits perfect. And I was like, all right, TikTok, whatever you say. I just don't question it anymore.
Right? Cool, whatever you say.
So by World War II, necessity again played a large role in bra design. And undergarments were now becoming standard issue for women who were enlisting in the military. So this is the first time women were actually, in uniform. And at the same time, Hollywood actresses who wore form-fitting sweaters were, the sweater girls, bolstered the popularity of a new bra shape, the bullet or torpedo style cups.
Yeah.
Oh, those are fun. And that's another fun thing I did in college. I got to do an exhibit of pinups. So a lot of those pinups had the bullet boobs,
Yeah. Back in the Dizzy, when I lived in America, I did some pinup stuff, and I went to, we have the not Air and Space Museum, I forget what it is, the Warhawk Air Museum in Idaho. And they have a breakfast for veterans every year for Veterans Day or Memorial Day. I can't remember. And we would serve the veterans that would come in actual World War I, World War II, Vietnam War nurses and other uniforms. And we had the bras too. And one of the bras that I got to wear one year was like fully bullet bra. And I was like, yes.
Wow.
I've never felt more sexy in my whole life.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one in
cool.
person.
It was like really delicate. And there was a lady who like helped me put it on. It was really cool.
That is really cool.
It was awesome. It was super, super cool.
I love it. I dig that stuff. And then you start bringing in the busty figures like Marilyn Monroe, who came back into fashion around 40s and 50s. And then Frederick Mellinger, Fredericks of Hollywood introduced the Rising Star bra, which is considered the first push-up bra.
Nice. Rising stars.
Rising Star.
Rising Star bra.
Man, so fun fact, when I was a teenager, I've always been really tall. And when I was a teenager, I was really awkward and I had no self-confidence and self-esteem or whatever. So my mom's like, let's go to modeling school, which was super fun. I absolutely loved it. But I had to have like really tall heels. So I bought them all from Fredericks of Hollywood because they have stripper heels. And they also have a lot of like drag queens. So I have huge feet. And that was the only place I could find them. I loved those shoes so much. And then I think one of my dog ate them and I was so mad. My college dog. I was like, no. Oh, man. But yeah, I've always had, like, I'm 6 feet, so I have big feet.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm very tall.
In my head, you're a tiny little lady. But
no.
I just picture you as like this little thing. And you are not, I guess.
I am not, no.
Can you guess how tall I am? Guess how tall I am.
5'8".
No. I'm 5'2".
What?
I'm teeny.
I would make you feel like a tiny like woodland creature next to you.
My two best friends are both like glamazon women, and I'm like like walking with them.
I think every tall person, all their friends are really tiny. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Super tall. So yeah, when I did that, you had to practice walking in like 6-inch heels or taller.
You must have been like a beautiful gazelle, just like with your long
like
legs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
And in hindsight, they were like the modeling schools that were just completely rip-offs, just taking money. But I loved it. It was so much fun.
That's so cool.
Oh, man. So, not surprisingly, the post-war baby boom also led to a production of maternity bras. So, the 50s, first time you had a maternity bra. And it was made for breastfeeding. And the first patented nursing bra was developed in 1943. But it wasn't until 1991 when cup sizes changed with them. And it had like a one-handed unlatching method. So that was invented by female designer Mary Sanchez. And then that concept really gained steam. And specialized nursing bras have also been developed for mothers who pump. So you can have your pump on in your bra. And I guess that's just, I don't have children, but that just sounds like it's probably a great invention if you need that. I'm just a dog mom.
Cat mom. I have 7 elementary school children. That's enough for me. So, good to go. Elementary school teacher. I see them for a fixed amount of time and then I leave.
So now we're entering the 60s, which was a wild time. So it's very, on one hand, you have the hippie-led broad-burning rebellions. And then on the other hand, you have the development of things like the Wonder Bra. And it was this plunging push-up style. It had over 50 different elements that worked to lift, enhance, shape. It changed the female bust dramatically. It was estimated that one Wonder Bra was sold every 15 seconds. These were so popular. That's crazy.
So cool. That is crazy.
And it was first invented in Canada, which I did not know. And then it came into prominence in the UK and then finally in the US. In the UK, their little advertising was, "Hello, boys."
That's it?
Yeah.
"Hello, boys."
I just love that. It was like, it's so cheeky. And I'm like, well, I guess.
Well, whatever.
Maybe.
Those cheeky titties. What are you doing?
So then Roy Raymond founded Victoria's Secret in 1977 after an uncomfortable trip to buy underwear for his wife. His vision was a store where both men and women could feel comfortable shopping for lingerie.
That's funny because now there's like memes where boyfriends or husbands or whatever are like standing outside of Victoria's Secret, like just all like on their phones and whatever while their significant others shop and stuff like that. Your dream did not come true, dude. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you.
In the 1977, also competitive sports bras were created. So we did have those ancient breast bands, from the Greeks that were technically sports bras, but they weren't officially developed until 1977. So 3 women working in a costume department at the University of Vermont's theater program invented it, and they called it the Jog Bra.
Oh,
that's interesting. And it was to support boob havers during physical exercise, which is great because, again, super painful.
Super painful.
Flopping around. And so a little more than 2 decades later, U.S. soccer star Brandi Chastain tore off her jersey in celebration of her World Cup winning goal. And it was a memorable moment because it was the first time that it exposed her now famous Nike sports bra.
Nice.
And now you see that image all the time, like athletes just working out in sports bra. But that must have been like a clutch of pearls moment.
Right?
Like, oh no, what are you doing? Put that away.
Her undergarments.
Ma'am, please.
We do not need this.
And so in the recent decades, very, very recent history, the size of the women's breast has actually increased very dramatically. And companies are starting to introduce new sizes like J, K, and double K.
Wow.
But yeah, I've seen people on TikTok like Fs and like, there's big sizes. And I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist, but I think it's probably because our generations were raised on hormone-filled meats and milks. So I'm sure that's helped.
True.
Especially like hormonal wise, menstruation starts so much earlier and development starts so much earlier. And
it just goes straight to the boobies, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody my age that doesn't have something wrong with them. So I think there was something literally in the water or food.
Yeah.
Like everybody has an autoimmune disease that I know. Just everybody. Or everybody that I went to school with, like in their 30s, like we're all falling apart. I'm like, thanks, milk.
Thanks, milk. Fucked us up.
Yes. Especially like growth hormones and all, like everything we ate. I imagine it probably did not help.
There is a non-zero chance that it did affect, I feel like.
And the last evolution of bras is the adhesive bras. So now you have the pasty things, you have those little rabbits that pull it up, or the boob tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like, I think Kim Kardashian has boob tape. And I think I watched a thing I'm like, I just don't think normal boobs are going to tape up the way that you're showing me because just gravity.
Gravity. And they're not like, they have a mind of their own. And I feel like molding my boobie into a tape thing would just like, I feel like it would look lumpy and there would be parts squidge out of the tape.
And I know like some new bra companies are catering to, because everybody with a boob boobs
with a single boob,
the uniboob. But everybody has different sizes. That's just how they work. That's what they come in. Natural boobs are different sizes. So that's the new thing I've seen. I think Third Love and all them, they have the 2 different sizes you can get. But I think it's cool now that like companies are catering to functionality again and comfort. All that fancy stuff's very uncomfortable. And corsets are in again. People have corsets.
They are.
They really enjoy them. And, if you like to cosplay, those are super, super cool. So I know
TikTok is making me want to buy one.
I know, like I shit on corsets, but they are cute. So
they're cute as hell. And I'm like, I see all these like zillennials. I'm like, maybe I should get a corset. And then I'm like, Taya, you live in Japan. What are you gonna do? I
mean, TikTok is
fashion is different.
I've already bought a crown on TikTok, so I mean,
I love it.
I know. Well, I think also you can still get corsets that don't have, whalebone and like the metal is more movable. I don't think they're as dangerous. I mean, some if you want the historically accurate, which some people do, and they tighten them as tight as they used to, but I don't think you have to like break your ribs anymore. Hopefully. I hope nobody does that. That seems like it would be really painful. Yeah. So, but they have like instead of laces, a lot of them just have the hook and eyes and stuff. So maybe less dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's bras.
Yay! Bras. That was fascinating. Thank you.
Who knew?
I'm so excited about it.
It started out as like a joke. I was like, I can make some boob jokes. And I was like, man, this is actually really cool.
That is fascinating. And I'm so thankful for the sports bra because I wear one on the daily, chasing around little 7-year-olds. Oh my God. I'm wearing one right now. Sports bra.
It's so my go-to. I enjoy them.
Same.
They're more comfortable.
Yeah.
But
they are
can you imagine it was the 70s before those came around?
That's bananas. How did people work out?
Oh, I would imagine having to strap them down or tape or something. That seems to be what popped up is just like their equivalent of tape or like bandages,
Yeah.
Binding as much as you can.
Down. Gosh, it's so interesting. Well, we are going to take a huge departure from the bra. Huge departure with my topic. We're talking about more modern history. And in fact, okay, no, that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it. All right. So, do you remember the floppy disk? Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent.
I'm old.
Same.
I'm an elder millennial.
An elder millennial. Yeah. I'm a middle child millennial. Like I'm not quite an elder, but I'm up there. So do you know who the inventor of floppy disks was or is? There is an ongoing debate on whether IMDb, the IBM. Yep, IBM.
You got there.
IBM or this Japanese man named Yoshihiro Nakamatsu invented. But if you ask Yoshihiro Nakamatsu, he definitely invented it. And he invented it, in fact, in 1959, right after the war. Yes. Mm-hmm. This man is probably one of the most interesting inventors ever. So he claims to have invented the floppy disk as well as literally thousands of other inventions. And if you meet him, one of the first things that he'll mention is that Thomas Edison has 1,093 patents, but he has 3,770 patents. And the thing that makes him different is that he is still alive and Thomas Edison is dead. And that is his claim. I know.
What a firecracker.
Oh, he is. He is. So Yoshihiro Nakamatsu, I'll tell you about him first. So he was the son of a banker and he lived in his father's name was Hajime Nakamatsu, and he was a teacher. And then his mother, Yoshino Nakamatsu, was also a teacher. And they both gave him education from a really early age. They were starting to teach him physics and chemistry and astronomy and all sorts of things that normally wouldn't be taught to kids in regular Japanese schools during this time. He was a child during World War II, and he remembers all of these, and he says that it really influenced his inventing. He also went to University of Tokyo, which is like the Harvard, the Ivy League of Japan. So he's a smart guy, super, super smart guy. And his first invention was when he was 14 years old. He saw his mom struggling to pour kerosene into a bottle for lights and the stove and everything else. She had this giant case of kerosene and was just spilling it all over the place. So he legitimately invented at 14 years old, has a patent and everything, this siphon that's still used today for not only gasoline, but also soy sauce, mostly soy sauce and different cooking liquids. I don't have one because I don't transfer large Costco quantities of soy sauce into a tiny little bottle. So, but my in-laws have this siphon in their house for their electric heaters or gas heaters. And that is his first actual legitimate invention. And then
wow. That's impressive. At 14?
I know, right? Super impressive. Yeah. But the impressiveness doesn't stop there. It continues. In 1952, Dr. Motz says that he invented the conceptual idea of a floppy disk because he was upset about listening to records and having them be scratchy, like records and stuff. And he said he looked out his window and there were two butterflies flapping their wings. And he was like, I shall call this the floppy disk.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right? So interesting. But IBM is like, nah, man, we developed this patent in 1969. Like it was us. We actually invented the thing itself. But there was a bunch of disputes. And eventually IBM made a contract with Dr. Motz to be in some commercials and get some money from floppy disk inventions.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. So that's where the normalcy stops and the weird shit begins.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a documentary that came out called The Inventing of Dr Motz. And in this, you really get to see the up close and personal life of Dr. Nakamatsu. And people knew that he was weird before this, but not this level of weird. So first I'm going to tell you, yeah, I know.
I'm so excited.
I'll tell you about his inventions first, just to kind of give you a taste of what this man was doing. So his actual legitimate invention of the siphon and his maybe legitimate invention of the floppy disk. And after that, he created things like the self-defense wig, which is a wig with a ninja shooting star in it. And
yes.
And if you feel threatened, all you have to do, there's a string that comes down here and you can just whoop-ah and whip people in the face with your self-defense wig.
Oh my gosh, can you get that on Amazon?
I don't know, but we should look it up. So the self-defense wig. And he also has, any 90s kids will remember, do you remember moon shoes?
Yeah.
So he invented these things called Pyongyang shoes. And Pyongyang is the Japanese word for like bouncing. It's the onomatopoeia for bouncing, like pyong, pyong, pyong.
Oh, yeah.
So he invented these shoes that were attached to things that looked like ski boots. And yeah, he invented the Pyongyang shoes. And people loved the shit out of them here in Japan. And I personally want a pair so very badly, but you can no purchase them.
Ew.
I know, right?
That's incredible. The name alone is incredible.
He's got some amazing names. So you have the self-defense wig, the Pyongyang shoes, and then you have the love jet.
Oh, do tell.
Would you like to take a guess as to what the love jet is?
Love jet.
Love jet.
Okay. Almost afraid. Is it maybe like a jacuzzi thing? Like a jet for a tub? Am I going? Nope. It's probably weird.
Way off.
Way weird.
Way off.
I have no idea.
You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it.
No.
So the love jet. Japan has a severe declining birth rate. And Dr. Nakamatsu thinks that it is because people just aren't horny anymore. Just not even, he's people aren't horny, right? He was like, I need to save my country. Yeah. So I'm going to invent the love jet, which is a kind of Viagra that is supposed to be like 100 times more potent than Viagra. And it's a spray. You spray it. It's a drink version too. You either drink it, you spray it. And it makes people really horny. He tested it on 50,000 people in the United States and Japan. And he said nobody came back saying that they didn't like it. Everybody loved it. And his claim to it working so well is that an American couple wrote him a letter telling him that the Love Jet invention was the best thing since apple pie.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Is it like, do we know what it is? Is it like a pheromone or is it?
It's a mix of herbs and pheromones. And yeah, I think that's about it. A mix of herbs and pheromones, but he won't divulge what exactly is in it because it's, super
too
patented.
powerful. It's too powerful for the world.
Yes, it is too powerful for the world. I don't think that you can, I know. I don't think you can buy it anymore, but on eBay, there are people that are selling it as like a collector's item.
Oh yeah. I need to Google this.
Love Jet.
That's incredible. Total little side thing. You watch The Daily Show? Or have you watched? Okay, so Trevor Noah is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But he was talking about the census and the birth rate is down in the United States right now. And he was talking about the reasons why. And he's like, probably this photo. And it was Ted Cruz and his new mullet. I was like, it's true.
Love Jet.
It's a boner killer. Just Ted Cruz.
It is.
Yeah.
I hate
Anywho,
him.
what did we got next?
So the next invention is called the Cerebrics. The Cerebrics. All right.
Oh.
And the Cerebrics is just a lazy boy chair with a curtain around your whole head. It cools your head and it warms up your feet because Dr. Nakamatsu thinks that can't think of ideas when your brain is hot, but you need to have warm feet to circulate the blood in your body because blood circulation is really important. Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes sense because a lot of Eastern medicine really falls into that.
He's all about that.
Yeah.
Finding the best way for your body to be in the prime inspiration zone.
Well,
and these are like not the only inventions. He has like 3,770 patents. And that's the last time I checked. That's how many patents he has. So how does this man come up with so many patents, you ask? Great question. Thank you. Dr. Nakamatsu, or Sir Dr. Nakamatsu, as he likes to refer to himself.
Oh, did he knight himself?
He did knight himself.
Yes!
He said that the king of the Maldives knighted him, but the royal family on several occasions has been like, no, the fuck we didn't, man. And he's like, yes, you did. You don't remember. And so now he just calls himself Sir Dr. Nakamatsu.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I want to be on his level.
I know. Just wait, okay? Just wait. Wait for it. Dr. Nakamatsu has his own invention home, which helps facilitate his inventing, okay? Mm-hmm. And his home is on Dr. Nakamatsu Street, which lies in the area of Dr. Nakamatsu Square. Oh. And there's a Dr. Nakamatsu Avenue for everyone else to live on in that area. This is legit. It's in Tokyo. You can Google Maps it. It's a real thing. Yeah. And he just made it himself. He didn't ask anybody. It was like, he made it. He just, there you go. Yeah. No, there was no zoning. There was nothing governmental involved. He created the sign himself. He had somebody put the sign in there and he just did it.
Oh, and I love that. It's just nobody stopped him. That's what's amazing.
Right?
He's just living his life and we're all just invited to watch him go. It's incredible.
It is. He is the most amazing, ridiculous man I've ever met in my life. So I've never met him. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, what?
Yeah, but surprise. I met him. So when you walk into Dr. Nakamatsu's house, his gate is a floppy disk. It's a floppy disk, a giant floppy disk.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you walk in and his house, picture a mad scientist's house. This is his house. Like a mad scientist with a lot of fucking money. This man has so much money. I don't know how it's possible. Within his house, he has 4 separate rooms that he goes to for his inspiration.
Okay.
Let me tell you about the first room, which is my favorite
cannot
room.
wait. Yeah,
it's the bathroom. The bathroom is his favorite. And he goes in there. The toilet is golden. Just Google Dr. Nakamatsu golden toilet. You will see it.
Oh, it is amazing. Okay, hold on.
Do you see it?
I do. Oh, he's adorable.
Isn't he so cute? Look at it.
That is very gold.
It is gold. So there's a reason behind it being gold, apparently. So he spends most of his time inventing in this room because the gold plating blocks all waves, cell phone waves, microwaves, radio waves, everything. And he sits on the toilet. He says the best time to invent is between 12 and 4 a.m. So imagine this cute little old man with his notepad, no pants, sitting on the toilet, writing down his inventions. No pants. Because he does. He's like, I need to simulate me actually going to the bathroom, even though I'm not going to the bathroom. And I'm just thinking, does he have hemorrhoids? Because doesn't that happen when you sit on the toilet for too long?
I know. I've heard that. Yeah.
For sure.
That's an Edwardian thing too, probably.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That seems some anal phase thing.
He's got something. He's got a little something because, I mean, look at him. Standing in his golden bathroom that he sits in between the hours of 12 and 4. Because that's when the best inventing is done. And he says, while everyone else is sleeping, I'm thinking.
Oh,
yes.
Catchy.
Yeah. And it's amazing. So he sits in his golden toilet. And if that doesn't work, then he goes to his other room, which is his inspiration room. And it's actually a tiny elevator within his house. And in this elevator, Beethoven's Symphony No. 5 is constantly playing in this elevator. And so he goes into this elevator and just sits there and thinks. And it's amazing. Yeah. Wow. And that's how he gets inspiration. Hubby is back.
Cool. I listen to film scores and classical music to think. That's how I write my notes and stuff. So
right? I know. Same. Like, so he invented the floppy disk while he was listening to this Symphony No. 5. And so from that point on, he was like, this is the penultimate music for inventing.
Oh, hard relate. I wrote my thesis listening to the Game of Thrones soundtrack. And now it is like my ultimate when I need to be like in the zone. I listen. That's my favorite composer. But yeah, that's what I do. It's the same songs that remind me of my brilliance. So I feel you, man.
Exactly. So that's what that's the thing that makes this guy so cool is like he's so unrelatable yet so relatable at the same time. It's so interesting.
That's true.
He calls himself a cross between Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is super cool.
And that's a really cool combination of inventors.
Yeah, he's awesome. So the next room in his house is where his Cerebrics, the lazy boy thing where it covers your face and warms up your feet. That's where that is in his house. So there's the third room with the Cerebrics, and he spends some time in there. The last room is his dive tank.
Oh.
Yes. Where he goes when he needs, when all the other rooms fail, he goes to the dive tank to get his last little bits of inspiration. And he takes his waterproof notebook and waterproof pencil that he invented down under the water tank. And he makes himself stay under the water until he says 0.05 seconds before he dies. Yes. And then he writes down. Right.
That's a little risky, sir.
super risky. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Do you see him?
What in the, oh my.
And this dive tank is in his home. So he goes there between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m.
Wow. So
do his
he's
inventing.
doing some like serious brain Olympics here. Like
Serious
providing himself oxygen, the stimulation, the music. I mean, all of this is just different methods of really messing with your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. It doesn't. It's amazing. So he believes that people shouldn't sleep for more than 6 hours. He says that alcohol, tea, milk, and tap water are bad for the brain and they should be avoided at all costs. He says coffee is also very dangerous.
Oh.
He only eats 1 meal a day, which he thinks is the optimal amount times to eat, and that the meal should be low in oil and no more than 700 calories.
Okay, he lost me there.
I know.
I've been on board with almost everything.
Right. And this is where the departure comes in, right?
At 10:54 at night, I'm drinking my iced coffee. So.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Anxiety who? We don't know her.
Yes, I hear colors. It's fine.
So would you like to know what he eats in a day?
Okay, I do.
I would love to.
Doesn't seem like you could get enough nutrition in that little calories and only once a day.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is what he eats. It consists of a single serving of pureed seaweed, cheese, yogurt, even though he said milk is bad for the brain. Can we just... Okay.
Yeah, a little disconnect there, I think.
Yeah, right there. And so yogurt, eel, eggs, beef, dried shrimp, and chicken livers. He seasons his food with a concoction that he made himself called Dr. Nakamatsu's Rebody 55, which is a dietary supplement comprising of 55 grains and several mystery ingredients.
Oh.
And it's ideal for sprinkling on top of soup or cereal, he says.
Okay. I love that he has his full name and everything.
Yes. And so his name is Nakamatsu. So there's an SU at the end. But he decided that it sounds better to have 8 letters in your name, so he just took off the U, but he insists that you say Dr. Nakamatsu.
Okay, well that makes sense when I was Googling because the U wasn't there.
Yes, no, the U is not there. The U is not there. Even though his name is kanji, so there's no U in it at all. It's just it's interesting. He's an interesting man.
He is.
I love him.
And his meal, like I guess there's some nutrition, but it just doesn't seem like enough to get enough.
Right? Yeah. You are not the only person to think this. So Dr. Nakamatsu has been taking pictures of every single meal that he eats for the last 44 years.
Oh, wow. That means like legit cameras.
Uh-huh.
Wow. He had to develop those photos.
Right. And this is just like a little side note, but he loves collecting cameras, not because he loves photography, but because he just likes cameras. Mm-hmm. And the way that he decides which camera is the best is he smells them.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is in the documentary, and you can find it on Amazon, and I highly recommend you watch this documentary because it's amazing.
I will. This dude is intriguing.
Yeah. He's fantastic. He's been taking a picture of every single meal he has sent for the last 44 years. And he's been documenting, trying to investigate the links between eating habits and intelligence. And this earned him an IG Nobel Prize, what is that? So the IG Nobel Prize is kind of like a sarcastic prize awarded annually since 1991 to celebrate 10 unusual or trivial achievements in scientific research. And its aim is to honor achievements that first make people laugh and then make people think.
Oh.
Yeah. So he, in 2005. I know, right? I know. I was like, hell yeah. Right. So he got this in 2005 for his research in connections with food and intelligence, which is amazing.
I mean, I buy that because a lot of things you eat and the nutrition, brain chemistry, that's all it is. So I get that, but it still just seems like his body would be like starving and not able to be his elite self, you know?
Exactly. But here is the thing. So his diet and the way he lives his life is probably actually saving his life. So unfortunately, in 2013, he was diagnosed with a really, really severe type of colon cancer. And yes, the doctors, this was in 2013, and the doctors were like, you at best, you have a year to live. And he took it as a challenge. So he's invented a tea to help stop the cancer. He's invented a new type of like dietary system. And he's also invented a song that is supposed to heal your cells and cure you from cancer.
You know,
now, none of these have patents. Right.
But I believe him. I feel like if anybody else said that, I'd be like, okay, sure.
Whatever.
But I feel like I believe him. But also, 2013, like colon cancer is one of the most rapid, like developing and one of the most deadly right behind what is it? Pancreas is the most?
Yeah, pancreatic cancer.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But you know what?
For him.
He's still alive.
In his little tank.
In his little tank. In his golden bathroom. Yeah. In 2013, they were like, you have a year to live. And he was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to live until 144 years old. That's when he thinks he's going to live to. He's like, when I'm 143, then I'm going to worry about dying. But right now, I'm not a little bit worried about it.
Again, I believe him. I feel like if anybody can do it, it's him. And he looks good. How old is he?
He does. He's 92 years old now.
Get out.
Yeah, 92 years old, and he's still inventing and he's still doing things. He was traveling. In 2018, he went to the States because one museum, I can't remember the name of the museum, but they were honoring him and his inventions. And they put all of his patents and inventions in a exhibit, and he went there. And he has like a cult following. People love the shit out of this man.
Oh, I can see why.
I know.
There's no way this guy is in his 90s.
Yeah, 92 years old.
He's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
I take back everything I said. Look at him. He looks so young.
Doesn't he? He absolutely has it figured out. And so he keeps inventing. Like I said, he invented the new type of tea, the song, the new diet for cancer, and he's still going. He's still kicking. He says the thing that keeps him alive is that he needs to make more inventions in order to make the world a happier, better place.
Oh, bless his heart. That's sweet. Oh, I just love him. I want him to be my grandpa.
I know, right? He's so cute. Weird as all get out, but just the cutest old man.
Does he have any family? Does he have kids?
He does. He has 3 kids, but he's not very close with them.
Well, a lot of people that are like geniuses tend to not be great with the family.
Mm-hmm. He's been married, I think, twice or 3 times, and hasn't worked out. He's got 3 kids. Oh my God, in the documentary, he calls them his failed inventions, and I was like, oh shit, don't say that. That's mean.
Oh no.
I know. Ugh.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like Bill Murray, I love him, but he's had a lot of failed marriages, and his kids, some of them aren't so close, but he's a genius. Sometimes people just can't
handle it. Can't handle having a family and being a genius at the same time.
Yeah, or like some people are just some really big, heavy personalities, and sometimes they just don't.
Yeah, and he is. Oh my God, go on YouTube, look at some of his things, and he's the audacity of someone to just be like, yeah, I'm knighted. The king of the Maldives knighted me. And then for the actual person to be like, no, we didn't. We didn't knight you.
I just seem to be like,
go away. Shut up. Shut up. Right?
Yes, you did.
And but it's like his life is the most amazing combination of things that actually happened and things that he just made up. So the American Science Association actually did recognize him as one of the top 5 inventors of the world, like including Marie Curie. What's the Greek guy? Again, Archimedes? No, who's that?
No.
Yeah, Archimedes. I don't remember. Yeah, Marie
Greek
Curie.
History.
Yeah, whatever. Nobody cares.
It's usually like the one thing everybody knows is Greek history, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know Greek history. I'm sorry. Yeah, so he was actually awarded the top 5 most influential inventors in the world by the American Science Association. So there's this amazing mix of things that actually happened and shit that he just invented. So
that's incredible. I like him. He seems
cool
very
guy.
eccentric, but like a genius.
He is. Yes, he's amazing.
Wow, that is so cool. I'm so glad I know about him. I'd never heard of him.
I hadn't heard of him until I was like, weird Japanese inventors. And then like he popped up and I was like, excellent.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's so incredible to be. Everybody talks about Edison like he is one of the most, as far as like heavy patents and stuff, but this guy's doubled that. More than doubled.
More than doubled it, and he's not even dead yet. So
yeah, they should definitely mention that in the footnotes when people are going off about how incredible Thomas Edison is.
Yeah, right.
Most of his too. So
right. That is the story of Sir Dr. Nakamatsu, and I hope that you enjoyed it.
I just can't get over. Like he decided one day, I'm going to be a knight. And I'm going to name everything after me. And you know what? Nobody's going to tell me no. So let's just do this. And
nobody has yet.
Yeah. It's like he created the life he wanted and took it and just didn't let anybody tell him no.
No. He fully manifested.
Super inspirational. So good. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you liked it. I hope everybody listening enjoyed it. Yeah. That's what I've got for you. That's all she wrote.
I know. Incredible. Especially since you're in Japan right now.
Yeah. It's super cool.
Existing there. Tomorrow.
Just existing in Japan. Yeah. Tomorrow.
In the future.
I'm in the future.
That is so wild to me. Time zones are so
Time zones are weird.
Yeah.
Why does the sun do what it does?
No. This has been so much fun. You are a delight. And I've had just a blast.
Thank you. I'm so glad. Again, thank you. Oh, my cat thanks you as well. Thank you so much for having me on. I love this. Everything about it was so fun. Having people in the comments was amazing. Everybody's so supportive. You are just a gem. Anytime we want to chat, I'm so up for it. It was wonderful. And I'm so glad to meet all your patrons.
They are
just
best.
Fantastic.
I love how excited people are to see the comments. It's like my favorite part because they're like, I never get to do this. I never get to talk.
It's just me, like with my microphone and my laptop, and I'm like hiding underneath a blanket, like trying. I'm like a troll.
I love the energy of having like it's a live show every time, so it's just really cool energy. And before we go, tell everybody how to find your podcast.
So you can find my podcast. My main thing is Instagram, for the love of _history podcast. I always post on there. There's a bunch of fun stuff. I've got a lot of today in history. Every episode has a corresponding post where you can see pictures and things. I'm also a little bit on Twitter. And that's a little bit on Twitter at For the Love of HIS3. Yeah, because For the Love of History was taken. On my Instagram, there is a link tree in my bio. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere you put podcast into your ear holes, I am there. So take a listen anywhere and feel free to send me a DM anytime. I love hearing from people. It's my absolute favorite thing ever. So send me a DM on Instagram anytime. Email is fortheloveofhistory2020@gmail.com.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I love DMs too. And then I always answer back really fast and everybody's like, whoa. I'm just like, I really enjoy this. So
you're welcome. Talk to me?
Yeah.
I talk to you.
Come on a little strong. It's fine. You'll get used to it.
Me too.
I know, especially like new Patreon. I'm just like, you'll get used to me because I'm just like, thank you. Like emailing. It's a lot.
I'm just excited you're here.
Cannot contain all my excitement.
Exactly.
Man. Well, you have a great day. And
thank you so much. Yeah, bye everybody. It was so nice to see you.
I want to thank my guest Taya from the For the Love of History podcast again for joining me. I had such a fun time. You were so funny. And I am just so happy that I now know about this cute little old man who invents so many cool things. And I just also feel that I need to live my life the way I want to live it. And if anybody is like, you can't do that, just ignore them, just like him. You ready for some shameless plugs? All right, let's go. If you'd like to watch these episodes live, comment along and talk to my guests, join Patreon. That's patreon.com/historicalafpod. And you can watch all these episodes that have already happened. So you get the bloopers, you get all the deleted scenes, you get all the chats before and after the episodes. You also get lots of benefits, perks, things in the mail. Higher tiers get gifts. There's just a lot going on. You should definitely check that out. So my husband's doing car things. This was great timing. And speaking of Patreon, I have some shout outs today. I'm so excited that Rachel has rejoined the fam. I can't tell you how excited I am and how much I squealed that you were back. Rachel, if you guys remember, was on a mini gab, and she is soon to be a full-ass priest too. So I just am so proud of you, for one, just how amazing you're doing in seminary. And I'm just so excited to have you back and to see everything going on. Can't wait to see what the future holds. So thank you for the support. It means so much. You've been so incredibly kind and wonderful. Next up is my mom. My mom increased her pledge. And listen, my mom gets everything for free, and I tell her everything that I'm going to do anyway because she's my mom. And she just wants to support me, which made me cry because it just means so much to me. My mom has been forced to listen to my weird history shit my whole life. And now she voluntarily listens to the podcast and supports me on Patreon. I just can't tell you how much it means to me. And how incredibly lucky I am to have that kind of support. So thank you, Mom. Mom's now a prolific AF patron. And she's so cute because I'm like, hey, Mom, now that you're this tier, you get a quarterly gift. And this was the gift this quarter. And what do you want? And she's like, I don't need that unless you really want to give it to me. So, of course, I'm going to be bringing her a mason jar that says, I like history and maybe 3 people. And I'm really excited about it. And last but not least, it even revved up the engine for you. Nancy, thank you so much for joining the Patreon fam. I cannot wait to get to know you more. I'm so excited that you're here. I did a little happy dance when the little notification popped up that you had joined Patreon. And my husband looked at me like I was going crazy. And I was like, you don't understand, dude. I just got a new member of my little family. So I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so thankful for the support and just so thankful for all the love that you guys send my way on Patreon. It means so much. And again, if you want to join the fam, and I know I say that and it sounds really lame, but for real, we are genuinely friends. We're genuinely family. If you'd like to send me a story for this month's Extra AF, I'd really appreciate it. I want to hear about your favorite historical nuggets, your favorite places. Seriously, husband? Does somebody else have to deal with this? This is the race car wife life. Anywho. Also, if your town has a cool legend, a cool historical story, do you have a cool thing in your genealogy? Is your house haunted? Are you going to haunted places? Please tell me. I want to be haunted so badly that I think the entire paranormal world has gotten together to say no. So I'm going to live vicariously through you. And I was really thrilled the last time I was like, I want to hear about aliens. And I got an alien story. If anybody has another one, I totally want to hear it because I believe in aliens. I just don't think they built pyramids. The hill I'll die on. Follow me on social media. That's Historical AF Pod at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And there you can get pictures. You can see what's going on. You get updates on things like merch sales, like one coming up this week on May 13th through the 16th. 20% off everything at shop.spreadshirt.com/historicalafpod. And there's some new designs. It's really exciting. You should check it out. For everything else, things like sponsorships and affiliate stuff, you can go to linktr.ee/historicalafpod and check that out. And finally, I just want to say a huge thank you. I've been pretty vocal about how shitastic my last month or so has been. And if you follow me on TikTok, which, you should at Keely-Ann, I've been really open about my mental health and just being depressed and just stressed out and a lot of stuff. And I have been getting so many lovely letters and postcards and gifts and care packages in the P.O. box. And I can't tell you how much it means. I'm normally just blubbering as I'm walking out of the post office because it's just such an incredible amount of love coming my way. And I don't know what I did to deserve so much love, but I just really hope that you guys know how much it means to me and how special every single one of you are. I have set up my office now, so all the gifts and cards and letters and everything is surrounding me while I'm working. And now if you're on Patreon and you're watching the videos, you can see everything behind me now. I'm just so happy. You guys bring me joy, even in the dark times when it's all dark and twisty and I don't see a lot of light. You guys make sure there's light in my life. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are the best. Hey, look, the car noises went away right as we're ending. I'll see you guys next week with Spies Part 1 with special guest Nicholas, who is a real ass spy. I don't know if I can call him a spy. I don't know. He does spy shit. So I'm super excited. The episode was so funny. You guys are going to love it. I'll see you then. Okay, bye.